Chapter 1. The person Lucas Turner cared for the most had driven under the influence and caused a fatal accident. Without hesitation, he took her away from the scene. As a lawyer, he knew the law inside and out. He helped her concoct a story, claiming she fled out of panic, and the following day, once she had sobered up, he escorted her to turn herself in. Simultaneously, he reached out to the victim's family, hoping to earn their forgiveness. What he didn't realize was that the person she had killed was me. And I was his only family. Lucas, I've killed someone. What should I do? At 1:30 a.m., Mia Miller called Lucas Turner, her voice trembling with tears as she pleaded for help. Lucas froze for a moment but quickly composed himself. Don't do anything yet. Don't call the police. Wait for me. Yes, I'll wait. 20 minutes later, Lucas arrived at the scene. Mia clung to his shirt as if it were her lifeline, her sobs shaking her entire body. She looked more devastated than the lifeless woman lying on the ground, whose body was mangled and drenched in blood. Have you been drinking? The strong scent of alcohol on Mia's breath made Lucas's expression darken. As a lawyer, Lucas knew the gravity of the situation all too well. Driving under the influence and causing a death was a serious crime. Normally, he was a paragon of justice, unwavering in his principles and unafraid to confront power or privilege. But now, he hesitated. His gaze shifted to the corpse on the ground, crushed beneath Mia's car, reduced to nothing more than a broken, bloodied figure. Especially the head, what remained was just a mixture of blood and brain matter, completely unrecognizable. Thus, Lucas Turner didn't realize that person was me. Clearly, I was still wearing the blue dress we had gone shopping for last time. But I should have known better. Lucas Turner had never truly held me in his heart. He didn't care about anything related to me. How could he possibly remember what I was wearing today? I watched him calmly examine the surroundings. As an experienced lawyer, he had developed an immunity to investigations. This was a rather dark and desolate alley, with no one around. There were no traffic lights or crosswalks on the road. There weren't even surveillance cameras, and one of the street lights nearby was broken. I saw a glimmer of confidence flash in his eyes, a distinctive expression he always had when he was about to win a case. Perhaps he had already thought of a way to help Mia Miller get out of trouble, even if it meant going against his conscience and morals. He said, "Let's leave here first. Once you've sobered up, I'll take you to turn yourself in." "Will I go to jail?" Mia Miller asked him anxiously. He replied decisively, "No. So it turns out that even after death, a heart can still ache. It can still hurt so much." Before leaving, Lucas Turner told Mia Miller to remove the memory card from the car's dashcam and destroy it immediately. Of course, such evidence had to be erased beforehand. That's why he would never uncover the truth. My soul floated in the air, bound to follow Lucas Turner as he left the scene of the accident. Before departing, I turned to look at my own lifeless body. Scattered around it was seafood porridge, the porridge I had bought for Lucas Turner. Because he said he'd be working late tonight, I worried he'd forget to eat, so I had gone out of my way to buy his favorite porridge to bring home to him. But he didn't even glance at it. Lucas Turner took Mia Miller to a deserted beach. He instructed her not to wander around, then quickly returned home. The house was pitch dark. In the past, no matter how late it got, I would always leave a dim light on for Lucas Turner. But Lucas Turner didn't notice anything unusual. He went straight into the dressing room, found one of my dresses, took it, and left. As he was leaving, his body seemed to pause for a moment. I couldn't tell what he was thinking. Actually, it didn't matter because right after that, he turned his back and walked away without looking back. He didn't even go to the bedroom to check if I was there or not. He quickly returned to the beach and told Mia Miller to go into the sea to wash up and change her clothes. The smell of alcohol on her would raise suspicion from the police. He had even prepared plenty of mineral water for her to sober up and dilute the alcohol in her system. After everything was ready, at 10 a.m., Lucas Turner drove Mia Miller to the police station to turn herself in. On the way, they repeatedly coordinated their statements. Lucas Turner instructed her, "When the police ask why you ran away, just say you were terrified because you accidentally killed someone. Say you've never been in such a situation before, so you ran instinctively. Tell them that after hitting the person, you went to the beach and stayed there alone all night until you mustered the courage to confess. Say you only called me when you decided to turn yourself in and asked me to accompany you to the police station. And the reason you passed by the scene last night was because you had dinner with friends in that area, but you didn't drink alcohol. I've already coordinated the story with your friend. If the police approach her, she'll testify for you." After giving his instructions, he added, "Leave everything else to me." His tone brought Mia Miller a profound sense of security. At that moment, I saw Mia Miller's eyes turn red as she said, "Lucas, thank you. Without you, I wouldn't know what to do." Lucas Turner replied firmly, "You'll never have to be without me." I hovered in the air, listening to their conversation, and suddenly burst into laughter. I laughed so hard that my heart, lungs, and everything else ached. 10 years of pouring my heart out, and in the end, it couldn't compare to a single glance from his white moonlight. Lucas Turner and Mia Miller were childhood sweethearts, once a perfect match made in heaven. Later, Lucas Turner's family faced difficulties and had to move back to the countryside. Meanwhile, Mia Miller's family emigrated abroad. The disparity in their circumstances and the vast distance caused them to part ways. I met Lucas Turner during university and instantly fell for him. I had never seen a man more handsome than him. But what moved me the most was that his cold exterior concealed a warm heart. I once saw him caring for stray cats. His gaze at that moment carried a warmth I had never seen before, as if bathed in a holy light. I pursued him for 4 years but never dared to confess. On the night of the farewell party after graduation, he took the initiative to ask me, "Do you like me?" I froze, my face turning red. The entire school must have known I liked Lucas Turner. How could the person involved not know? He had just pretended not to notice all along. "I have nothing right now. If you're willing to struggle alongside me, we can start dating," Lucas Turner said. Under the flickering lights, I couldn't clearly see his expression at that moment. I also didn't know that Lucas Turner had a white moonlight he could never attain. I thought that the heavens had finally shown me favor for once. I am an orphan, abandoned since birth, never having felt warmth or experienced any luck. Only Lucas Turner made me feel the kindness this world could offer me. Chapter 2. I had been by Lucas Turner's side since the time he was just an unknown lawyer. Up until now, when he has his own office and has become a renowned attorney. But this journey was far from easy. Lucas Turner once narrowly escaped being attacked on the street because of a case. He had also gone 3 days and 3 nights without sleep for another case. At one point, he even risked infiltrating a criminal gang on his own to gather evidence. During that time, his health deteriorated significantly, and his stomach suffered severe damage. To take care of him, I decided to quit my job. Previously, I was a social journalist. When I had just graduated, Lucas Turner had nothing, and we lived off my salary. But because of the nature of my job, I often had to travel for work. Sometimes, I wouldn't see Lucas Turner for 3 or 4 days straight. After Lucas Turner suffered a gastric perforation and had to be rushed to the hospital, I resolved to give up the job I loved. I don't know if my sacrifices and dedicated care moved Lucas Turner, but after winning a major case, in his joy, he proposed to me. I could also feel that Lucas Turner's feelings for me deepened over time. He even started setting aside time to go on walks with me. He picked out dresses that I liked for me. Until Mia Miller returned to the country, shattering the peaceful and happy married life I had with Lucas Turner. The first time I heard about Mia Miller was on my birthday. I had prepared dishes that Lucas Turner liked, waiting for him to come home so we could celebrate together. But I waited all evening. It wasn't until the food had gone cold that Lucas Turner returned, slightly drunk. I wasn't angry. I knew he had many meetings, and I understood how demanding his work was. In fact, I was even worried if his stomach might be upset. After all, I had spent 3 years helping to heal Lucas Turner's stomach. I carefully helped him to bed. And at that moment, I heard him mumbling something. At first, I didn't know who he was calling out to. The next morning, I brought porridge to Lucas Turner's law office to help soothe his stomach and cure his hangover. When I stepped into his office, I met Mia Miller, a tall, beautiful, and very stylish woman. She greeted me warmly, looking every bit like she owned the place. She said, "You must be my sister-in-law, right? I'm Mia Miller. Lucas Turner and I grew up together. I just returned from living abroad yesterday." So, the Mia Lucas Turner had been mentioning all night wasn't the meow meow I had imagined. I had thought he was drunk and went out to feed stray cats. Then, I wondered if his fondness for cats was because the sound meow and Mia were similar. That day, Mia Miller proactively added me on WeChat. She said she had just returned to the country and wanted to make friends. She complimented the porridge I made, saying Lucas Turner was very lucky. From then on, I often saw photos and stories about her and Lucas Turner on Mia Miller's social media. Whenever Mia Miller called, no matter how late or how busy he was, Lucas Turner would immediately go to her. He'd say, "Mia is afraid of the dark. Her house had a power outage, so I'll keep her company for a bit." He'd say, "It's Mia's birthday, and she doesn't have many friends. I need to go and liven up the atmosphere." He'd say, "Mia is sick. She's here alone without family, so I have to visit her." Many times, Lucas Turner left me because of Mia Miller. But each time, he'd reassure me, "Don't overthink it. There's nothing between Mia and me." And each time, I tried to convince myself that there really was nothing between them. But now, after witnessing everything, I finally realized how foolish and pitiful I had been. Lucas Turner and Mia Miller arrived at the police station. As soon as they stepped inside, they overheard several officers discussing last night's car accident. A small restaurant owner was the one who reported it to the police. He said he recognized the victim's dress. Even though it was very late last night, she still came to his place to buy food to take home for her husband, one officer said. Her husband has stomach issues, only the porridge from that restaurant doesn't upset him. Hasn't her husband reported her missing to the family yet? Another officer asked. At the moment, the victim's body is completely disfigured, making facial identification impossible. The phone was also crushed, and the SIM card is damaged. We can only wait for the phone to be repaired or conduct DNA testing, an officer explained. Have we caught the person who caused the accident yet? Another officer inquired. We are currently investigating all the surveillance cameras in the city, a policeman replied. To be honest, the perpetrator is very skilled, completely avoiding traffic cameras, as if they vanished into thin air. Could it have been premeditated? Another officer speculated. We need to wait for the forensic results to identify the victim before we can proceed with a deeper investigation. Hearing the officers' discussion, Mia Miller began trembling uncontrollably. Lucas Turner, of course, noticed her fear. He held her hand tightly to comfort her. "Don't be scared." Mia Miller nodded, and the two of them stepped inside. "We're here to confess," Lucas Turner said loudly. Everyone in the police station turned to look at them. Lucas Turner continued, "The person responsible for the accident last night is Mia Miller." The officers immediately approached to verify Mia Miller's identity and escorted her to the interrogation room. Lucas Turner waited outside. My soul was still bound to Lucas Turner. Wherever he went, I had to follow. I didn't know if this was heaven's punishment for me. Those blinded by love don't deserve to be reincarnated as humans. At that moment, he approached another officer and inquired about the victim's situation. "I just overheard you. No family members have come to claim the victim's body yet?" The officer glanced at him, and Lucas Turner presented his attorney badge. The officer no longer withheld information. "No, we're still waiting for the DNA test results." "Didn't they say the victim went out to buy porridge for her husband?" "She didn't return all night, and her husband didn't report it to the police?" "Who knows?" The officer smirked coldly. There are so many unfaithful people in this world. For all we know, her husband might be with another woman right now. This world is full of strange stories, we're used to it. Lucas Turner nodded. He had handled many cases before, and this wasn't surprising. He said, Chapter 3 I am the lawyer for the person who caused the accident. I hope that when you get in touch with the victim's family, you will inform me immediately. We will do our best to seek their forgiveness. I hovered in the air, feeling nothing but amusement. He still didn't know that he himself was the family of the victim. And not just any family member, he was the only one. Surely, he would forgive Mia Miller. After a brief inquiry, Lucas Turner returned to the interrogation room to wait for Mia Miller. Mia Miller, after completing her statement, was temporarily detained. The act of causing a fatal accident and fleeing the scene constituted a criminal offense. However, Lucas Turner posted bail for her, and thanks to his long-standing relationships with various agencies, he quickly secured her release. That evening, Mia Miller left the detention center. Turner, can you come to my house? Lucas Turner drove Mia Miller home as she pitifully asked, I'm scared to be alone. Not tonight. Lucas Turner refused. This surprised me a little. I thought he would never say no to Mia Miller. Go home, take a shower, and change your clothes, Lucas Turner added. It turned out he felt a bit unkempt and worried he might make Mia Miller uncomfortable. Then can you stay with me tomorrow? We'll see tomorrow, Lucas Turner replied. In the next few days, I'll need your help preparing the court documents. Oh, by the way, I asked the police station today, and so far, no family members have come to claim the victim's body. Mia Miller's gaze showed a hint of something unusual, but Lucas Turner didn't suspect her at all. He continued speaking, this suggests that the victim might not have had a good relationship with their family. This works in our favor. Once we get in touch with the victim's relatives, as long as we provide reasonable compensation, your case will become much simpler. Thank you, Lucas. Mia Miller's eyes reddened with emotion. Who wouldn't be moved by such deep care and affection? Hovering in the air, I couldn't help but feel touched by the care Lucas Turner showed towards Mia Miller as well. After sending Mia Miller off, Lucas Turner returned home. The house was pitch dark. It was only 9 p.m. and normally, I wouldn't go to bed this early. Yet, Lucas Turner didn't notice anything unusual. How indifferent must one be to overlook everything like this? I watched as he wearily removed his coat and headed toward the refrigerator. The moment he opened it, his gaze paused briefly. It seemed he had noticed the sticky note I had left on the fridge, don't drink cold water, your stomach isn't good. Be good, okay? I had even drawn a little smiley face on the note. Lucas Turner's hand froze momentarily as he was pulling the door open, but he still proceeded to open it. I let out a faint chuckle. When will he ever start listening to me? Inside the fridge was a small cake. On it was written, to my dear husband, happy birthday. It suddenly hit me, yesterday was Lucas Turner's birthday. Even though we had a minor argument in the morning, when I heard he planned to work late, I still went out to buy his favorite seafood porridge to bring to him as a peace offering. I didn't want his birthday to pass by unhappily. But who would have thought? I ended up dying. Lucas Turner must be thrilled, right? Now he can be with Mia Miller, without any hesitation. I watched as Lucas Turner stared at the cake for a long time. A very long time. Perhaps it was only then that he remembered yesterday had been his birthday. And that he hadn't come home all night. He closed the fridge door and, at last, decided to look for me. He turned around and called out toward the bedroom, Emma Taylor, I haven't had dinner yet, I'm starving. In the past, the thing I dreaded most was hearing him say he was hungry. As soon as he got hungry, his stomach would start to hurt. So, every time he said he was hungry, I would drop everything and immediately prepare his favorite dish. But tonight, his answer was nothing but endless silence. Emma Taylor. Lucas Turner's voice grew louder, he was always impatient with me. Receiving no response from me, Lucas Turner stormed into the bedroom, pushing the door open forcefully. "You're overreacting. I had work, that's why I couldn't come home. Why are you becoming more unreasonable?" He still didn't know, I wasn't in the bedroom at all. And I wasn't sulking either. It was just that I was already dead. I suddenly felt curious. When he finds out I'm truly gone, what kind of expression will he have? Indifference? Relief? Or maybe just a hint of sorrow? Lucas Turner froze for a moment when he didn't see me in the bedroom. Out of habit, at this hour, I would certainly be at home. Even if I were upset, I wouldn't go anywhere. Because I had nowhere to go. After confirming I wasn't at home, he impatiently picked up his phone to call me. From the other end came the mechanical voice of the operator. "Sorry, the number you have dialed is currently switched off." Lucas Turner didn't bother listening to the rest and hung up immediately, his expression turning grim. He turned around, walked to the fridge, and grabbed a bottle of cold mineral water, as if deliberately defying me. He downed half the bottle in one go. After drinking, I knew right away his stomach would start to hurt. He clutched his upper abdomen, sweating from the pain. He rummaged around for medicine, but after a long while, he still didn't know which one to take. After all, I was always the one who prepared it for him before. He could hardly manage his life on his own. In a fit of anger, he threw the medicine box forcefully to the ground, then picked up his phone, hesitated for a moment, and pressed call. The other end picked up, the voice, tinged with a hint of uncertainty. "Lucas Turner? Is Emma Taylor with you?" Lucas Turner asked, trying to endure the stomach pain. The person on the other end let out a cold laugh. "You're looking for Emma Taylor, yet you're calling me?" The one answering was Rachel Davis, my college roommate. "Aren't you two friends?" Lucas Turner said coldly. "Friends?" Rachel Davis's laugh grew even more mocking. "You still remember that Emma Taylor and I were friends? But when I asked you for help, why did you refuse?" "I act strictly according to the law, fairly and with integrity," Lucas Turner replied sternly. I could only laugh bitterly at his words. Fair and with integrity? I used to truly believe he was an upright person. That's why, when Rachel Davis's younger brother was detained for getting into a fight and she asked Lucas Turner for help, I didn't blame him for refusing, even though it put me in a tough spot. Even though it cost me my only friend, Rachel Davis. But now? Not only could he help his white moonlight through connections, but he could also fabricate evidence against his conscience. He wasn't as noble as I once thought, he just didn't want to tarnish his so-called purity for my sake. Exactly, Attorney Lucas is so righteous. We, mere mortals, could never reach his level, Rachel Davis sneered. That's why I cut ties with Emma Taylor a long time ago. Didn't she tell you? Lucas Turner fell silent. He knew nothing of my life. He didn't know that Rachel Davis was my only friend. Chapter 4. He didn't know that when I pursued him, enduring everyone's disdain, Rachel Davis was the only one who encouraged and supported me. But because of him, Rachel Davis and I severed our friendship. I understand Rachel Davis. If I were in her position, I wouldn't be able to accept my best friend's husband refusing to help, even if it was a small matter. I know Rachel Davis doesn't blame me, but as a human, she couldn't continue pretending nothing had happened and maintain our friendship. Lucas Turner, I don't know what happened between you and Emma Taylor. But I just want to tell you, if you truly let Emma Taylor down, you'll regret it for the rest of your life. Rachel Davis spoke bitterly. You have no idea how much Emma Taylor has sacrificed for you. My matters with Emma Taylor don't need your concern, Lucas Turner replied with a darkened expression. Rachel Davis let out a cold laugh. Emma Taylor deserves better. After finishing her words, Rachel Davis immediately hung up the phone. Lucas Turner's face instantly darkened. He threw the phone onto the sofa, then stood up to find his medication. Perhaps the pain had become unbearable. He forced himself to carefully read the instructions on the stomach medicine blister pack before taking a few pills. Time passed, and Lucas Turner's complexion gradually improved. He picked up his phone and sent me a message on WeChat. Emma Taylor, come home when you're done being angry. I'm very busy and don't have much time to cater to your tantrums. Reading the message he had just typed, I felt a coldness pierce through me. He wasn't worried about whether something had happened to me, he only blamed me for wasting his time and affecting his mood. Yesterday was his birthday. When he was leaving the house in the morning, I told him I would organize a birthday celebration for him that evening. But he was so engrossed in texting that he didn't hear a word I said. Curious, I leaned over to peek and saw he was chatting with Mia Miller. Mia Miller was wishing him a happy birthday, and he replied with thanks. Then Mia Miller invited him to dinner that evening. Unable to hold back, I raised my voice slightly, "Lucas Turner." He froze and turned to look at me. "Come home early tonight, okay? I'll be waiting for you to have dinner together. I have a case today, I might have to work very late." "Don't wait for me," Lucas Turner rejected bluntly. "Is it because of the case, or because Mia Miller wants to celebrate your birthday with you?" I asked him directly. Lucas Turner's expression immediately shifted. He said, "Emma Taylor, how many times do I have to tell you? Mia and I have nothing going on. Stop starting arguments for no reason." "Nothing? If it's nothing, then why do you rush to her side the moment she calls?" The words I had been holding back for so long finally burst out. "I've already explained, she's alone in the country now, with no one to take care of her." "And why do you have to take care of her? What are you to her? What gives you the right to look after her? Lucas Turner, don't forget, you already have a wife." "That's enough," Lucas Turner said coldly. "If you're not going to listen to my explanation, then think whatever you want." He left the house immediately, showing no concern for how I felt in that moment. That night, I saw Mia Miller's social media post. She was having dinner with friends, and Lucas Turner wasn't there. It was only then that I realized Lucas Turner really did have a case to handle and wasn't with Mia Miller at all. Feeling guilty for misunderstanding him, I blamed myself. In this relationship, I've always been the one to lower myself. So whenever we argue, I'm usually the first to apologize, especially this time, when it was clearly my fault. I called Lucas Turner's assistant, who told me he likely wouldn't finish work until 2 or 3 in the morning. By then, Lucas Turner would have already eaten, so I decided to buy some seafood porridge for him at 1 a.m. I thought that after he got home from work, the porridge might make him feel better. Plus, I wanted to share some cake with him and light candles together. I even wore the dress he bought for me. But I died under the wheels of Mia Miller's car. And now, he's doing everything he can to clear Mia Miller of her charges. That night, I didn't come home, nor did I reply to Lucas Turner's messages, yet he didn't bother to ask about my whereabouts. After taking his stomach medication, he cooked himself a bowl of noodles. It had been too long since he last cooked, perhaps that's why the dish didn't turn out well. He only ate a few bites before leaving the rest, then went to the bathroom to wash up and head to bed. My absence at home seemed to have no impact on him whatsoever. Early the next morning, he woke up very early and went into his office to prepare materials for Mia Miller's case. I saw the evidence he had gathered. First, the street was too dark at night, and one of the street lights was broken, which affected Mia Miller's driving visibility. Second, there was no traffic light at the intersection, making it harder to notice pedestrians suddenly appearing. Third, the accident occurred at 1:30 a.m., a time when the streets were nearly deserted, making it difficult for the driver to anticipate any situation. Fourth, the forgiveness from the victim's family. When I saw the word forgiveness, I couldn't help but laugh. How could he predict something like that? Fifth, Mia Miller is a young, timid girl who, in a moment of panic, chose to flee immediately. This could be understood as panic rather than evasion of responsibility. Sixth, Mia Miller voluntarily turned herself in. Lucas Turner spent the entire day meticulously organizing all the evidence that could benefit Mia Miller, preparing everything thoroughly and carefully. That evening, Mia Miller finally couldn't hold back anymore and called him. Actually, she had texted him earlier, but Lucas Turner declined, saying he was busy preparing documents. "A2, are you done with work yet?" Mia Miller asked in a pitiful tone. Pretty much done. Then can you come over? I'm too scared to sleep alone. I didn't get any sleep last night. Same tonight, every time I fall asleep, I have nightmares. Lucas Turner glanced at the clock, then touched his stomach. I'll come over after I've had dinner. Can you have dinner at my place? Eating alone doesn't feel good at all. Lucas Turner hesitated for a moment but eventually agreed. I'll head over now. I'll wait for you. Lucas Turner turned off his computer and left his study. He glanced toward the bedroom, his hand gripping his phone a little tighter, but in the end, he turned away and left. He's waiting for me to make the first move and reconcile, just like all the times before. Lucas Turner drove to Mia Miller's house. She was wearing pink pajamas, looking rather haggard. But if you looked closely, you'd notice that what seemed like modest sleepwear actually held a subtle allure. Just a slight bend forward, and all her hidden beauty would be revealed. At that moment, she bent down to get slippers for Lucas Turner. Mia Miller took his hand and led him to sit at the dining table. She said, I ordered takeout. Let's eat together. Lucas Turner looked at the dishes on the table, all covered in chili. He frowned. He couldn't eat spicy food, it would upset his stomach. Did Mia Miller not know this? Or was it that Lucas Turner could endure anything and cater to her every whim? Meanwhile, when would I stop lying to myself? Love or not, the answer was crystal clear. Why aren't you eating? Mia Miller asked Lucas Turner, not to your taste? These are all Sichuan dishes, my favorites. It's not that, Lucas Turner shook his head. I'm not very hungry. Mia Miller took the initiative to serve food to Lucas Turner, saying he was too skinny and needed to eat more. Lucas Turner tried to hold back but ended up eating it anyway. Perhaps he would never know that my favorite dish is also Sichuan cuisine. Chapter 5. Is there still no information about the victim at the police station? Mia Miller suddenly asked. Nothing yet. Lucas Turner didn't eat much in the end. He took a sip of water and said, it seems the victim didn't have a good relationship with their family. Otherwise, after being missing for 48 hours, they should have reported it to the police long ago. Yeah. Mia Miller nodded, her eyes lowering to hide a fleeting worry. When we get in touch with the victim's family, combined with the evidence I have, at most, you'll only get a 1-year suspended sentence. Lucas Turner said. Don't worry, you won't have to go to jail. Lucas, I really don't know how to thank you. Mia Miller said, her eyes reddened. Before Lucas Turner could reply, Mia Miller placed her hand on his. Lucas Turner paused for a moment but didn't pull his hand away. Mia Miller said, I don't need you to take responsibility. As she spoke, Mia Miller grabbed Lucas Turner's hand and placed it on her waist. I floated in the air, watching this pair. Perhaps they didn't know that even though I was dead, my soul hadn't left. If only I could scare them to death, that would be great. When I thought everything would go as usual, Lucas Turner pushed Mia Miller away. Mia, don't do this, Lucas Turner said. I'm married. I know, but I don't care. The only thing I care about is you. But I care. I don't want you to be slandered by others. For you, I'm willing to do anything. If my parents hadn't forced me to go abroad back then, I wouldn't have left you. Now that I'm back, it's only because of you, Mia Miller said, looking at him affectionately. I'm sorry, Lucas Turner still refused. He didn't even give Mia Miller another chance to make a move and left her house quickly. Maybe he was afraid that if he stayed any longer, he might change his mind. Honestly, whether Lucas Turner and Mia Miller had a relationship or not, I wouldn't be surprised. Loving someone is normal. If nothing happened, it was either because Lucas Turner upheld his morals or because he didn't want to hurt Mia Miller. After all, being the third party is a position no one wants to make public. Lucas Turner returned to his car, breathing heavily. He clutched his stomach, clearly in pain. But no matter how much it hurt, he wouldn't let Mia Miller see it. He suppressed the pain and drove home. The house was still as dark as ever. I don't know if it was just my imagination, but I seemed to notice a hint of disappointment in Lucas Turner's eyes. Perhaps I was mistaken. Shortly after, I saw him calmly take his stomach medicine, wait for the pain to subside, then head to the bathroom and finally lie down on the bed. He didn't care whether I came home or not, all he cared about was the absence of someone to serve him in the house. Late at night. I thought Lucas Turner had fallen asleep, but suddenly he sat up and took out his phone to call me. If I hadn't seen the alertness in his eyes, I would have thought he was sleepwalking. Of course, no one answered his call. He then sent me a message on WeChat, "Emma Taylor, stop being stubborn and come home. There's still cake at home, I'll eat it with you." It was rare for Lucas Turner to lower himself like this. Although his tone was still stiff, this was already a rare occurrence. Was he genuinely trying to reconcile, or did he just want me to come back so we could finalize the divorce? Clearly, Mia Miller couldn't wait any longer. The next morning, Lucas Turner received a call from the police station. The person on the other end informed him that the victim's identity had been confirmed and requested him to come to the station. Lucas Turner immediately informed Mia Miller, "Mia, come downstairs in 10 minutes. I'll pick you up and take you to the police station. They've already contacted the victim's family." "They've made contact already?" Mia Miller was a bit surprised. After all, she knew very well that Lucas Turner was my only family. Lucas Turner quickly picked up Mia Miller. On the way to the police station, he repeatedly instructed her on how to seek forgiveness from the victim's family. I noticed the way Mia Miller looked at Lucas Turner, as if she wanted to say something but hesitated. Finally, she spoke, "Do you think the victim's family will forgive me?" "Trust me, they will." Lucas Turner was full of confidence. Of course, they would. I completely believed it too. The two entered the police station. The officers led them to a mediation room. Lucas Turner asked, "Where is the victim's family?" The officer gave Lucas Turner a strange look. Lucas felt a bit uneasy. The officer suddenly asked him, "Have you seen your wife in the past few days? Why are you bringing her up now?" Lucas Turner was a little annoyed. Clearly, as a lawyer, he should have been sharp, but whenever it came to me, he only felt irritated. "Just answer the question," the officer said seriously. "No, I haven't," Lucas replied. "We had an argument a few days ago, and she left the house." "But what does that have to do with today's case? Aren't you a lawyer?" The officer's voice carried a hint of mockery. At that moment, Lucas Turner seemed to have guessed something. The officer didn't beat around the bush and directly said, "We identified the victim through DNA testing. The victim is your wife, Emma Taylor." Lucas Turner stared at the officer in shock, disbelief written all over his face. "Who did you just say?" "Your wife, Emma Taylor." The officer handed Lucas Turner the identity confirmation documents. Lucas flipped through the file. Inside were photos of me at the time of death, my face unrecognizable and disfigured, along with the bloodied blue dress. "No, this can't be, how could it be Emma Taylor?" In Lucas Turner's eyes, panic began to appear. His hands trembled, his entire body shook, and his eyes suddenly turned red. I hovered in the air, watching Lucas Turner, who seemed to be grieving. Why was he grieving? Wasn't this supposed to fulfill his and Mia Miller's wishes? Now, they didn't even have to lift a finger, yet they could still receive forgiveness from the victim's family. What was there for him to grieve about? This expression, who was he putting on this act for? The facts are clear. Now, you're the victim's only family member. What agreement you make among yourselves is your business, the police said coldly. I'll record this in the report. Lucas Turner covered his face with both hands. Through the gaps between his fingers, I seemed to see liquid streaming down. Lucas Turner was actually crying. Was he crying because of me? Perhaps he was just so happy that he was moved to tears. Mia Miller stood beside Lucas Turner. She waited until he calmed down a little before speaking. I truly didn't know the person I hit was Emma Taylor. By the time I realized, she was already lying motionless on the ground. I really didn't know it was her. If I had known earlier, I would rather have died in her place. Chapter 6. Lucas Turner slowly lowered his hand. His eyes were bloodshot to a terrifying degree. He stared coldly at Mia Miller, his gaze so chilling it was frightening. Mia Miller seemed equally shaken by Lucas Turner's demeanor. Her voice trembled amidst her sobs. "Atu, you'll forgive me, won't you? You said the victim's family would surely forgive me, and now you are family." Mia Miller tried to grab Lucas Turner's hand, but he abruptly shoved her away. Unlike his tenderness the night before, this time Lucas Turner nearly pushed her to the ground. Mia Miller was utterly stunned. The police officer frowned. "Victim's family, please calm down. This is a police station." Lucas Turner turned and walked away immediately. He gave Mia Miller no chance for reconciliation and stormed out. Mia Miller hurriedly chased after him. I heard the police officer behind me sneer, "The victim's dead, and they're still putting on a show of deep affection." The officer's words truly echoed my thoughts. Outside the police station, Mia Miller tried her best to catch up with Lucas Turner, clutching tightly onto his shirt. "Atu, don't be like this. You're scaring me. Let go of me." Lucas Turner said coldly. "I know you're in so much pain, and I am too. I would rather it were me who died than Emma Taylor. But I just told you, the dead cannot come back to life. The living should look forward, that is the greatest comfort for the departed," Mia Miller said, crying. Lucas Turner probably never imagined that the words he once used to teach Mia Miller would eventually be applied to himself. "I told you to let go," Lucas Turner roared, his face fierce and full of menace. Mia Miller was startled by his demeanor. Perhaps she had never seen Lucas Turner so furious before. "I won't let go, Lucas Turner, I won't. If you truly can't forgive me, I'll go back to the police station and confess again. I'll use my life to atone for Emma Taylor. But the feelings I have for you, I will never let them go." With that, Mia Miller turned and started walking toward the police station. She had only taken 2 steps when Lucas Turner hurriedly pulled her back. I hovered in the air, watching the scene unfold, nearly laughing out loud. How could Lucas Turner truly allow Mia Miller to get hurt? At this moment, Mia Miller looked at Lucas Turner with eyes full of hope, her voice soft and melting. "Lucas, give me some time. I need to calm down." After saying this, Lucas Turner drove away. He returned home. After the moment of losing control at the police station, Lucas Turner was now completely composed. He was no longer sad, showing no expression at all. Regarding my death, a few minutes of sorrow seemed sufficient for him. Now, Lucas Turner simply stared quietly at the ceiling, his eyes empty. After a while, he stood up, walked to the refrigerator, and took out a birthday cake. He sat alone, eating the cake. Slowly, deliberately. My death truly didn't affect him. How could I have expected any reaction from him upon learning of my demise? Lucas Turner stayed at home all morning. In the afternoon, he went back to the police station and then went to claim my body. After the autopsy, my body looked even more tragic. I watched Lucas Turner stand there coldly, looking at my mangled, unrecognizable body in the morgue without showing any emotion. Then, he called Mia Miller. They went back to the mediation room at the police station. This time, in front of the police, Lucas Turner didn't hesitate to sign the forgiveness document. In the end, the victim's family and the perpetrator reached an agreement. Mia Miller didn't have to go to prison. Stepping out of the police station. The sun outside was blindingly bright, its rays scorching. Even as a soul, I couldn't open my eyes, and the sudden brightness made tears stream uncontrollably. "Atu, thank you." Mia Miller looked at Lucas Turner with eyes full of affection. "Emma Taylor is gone. I'll take care of you in her place. Get lost." Lucas Turner suddenly shouted. Startled, Mia Miller was about to grab his hand but hesitated. "I don't want to see you again," Lucas Turner said coldly. "From now on, another lawyer will handle your case." With that, Lucas Turner turned his back and walked away without looking back. I turned to look at Mia Miller. In her eyes, there was undisguised resentment and hatred. The same expression she had when she stabbed me to death. Lucas Turner brought my body to the funeral home. The police had returned to him everything I had on me when I died, including my repaired phone. In the funeral home, it was just Lucas Turner. He didn't notify anyone else. It was only him, standing beside my ice coffin. Perhaps I wasn't important enough for him to care too much. Unexpectedly, Lucas Turner took out my phone and began scrolling through it. I didn't have many apps, but I had a habit of writing diaries on my phone. And then, I saw Lucas Turner suddenly open my notes. I started feeling anxious. I didn't want him to see. I didn't want him to witness my foolishness, even after my death. But I couldn't stop him. I could only watch as he opened the diary entries. Date X, month X, year X. I think I've fallen for a boy. He's so handsome, the way he feeds stray cats is so warm. But he wouldn't like me, would he? I'm just too ordinary. Day X, month X, year X. The whole school laughed at me, saying I didn't know my place, asking how I dared to dream of someone as brilliant as a law prodigy. I don't want to dream. I just want to be by his side, and that's enough for me. Day X, month X, year X. Because I liked Lucas Turner, I was ostracized by my roommates. Only Rachel Davis stood by my side. She said there's nothing wrong with liking someone. Everyone should have the courage to be true to themselves. Rachel Davis was the first friend I ever had, and she's also the only one. Having a friend feels amazing. Graduation night, Lucas Turner said he could be with me. Is the universe suddenly favoring me? If all the pain and hardship I endured before were just to meet Lucas Turner, then I feel it was all worth it, and I'm incredibly lucky. Day X, month X, year X. Lucas Turner's work isn't going very smoothly. It's okay. Even if he never succeeds, I can take care of him. Day X, month X, year X. Lucas Turner finally got a case. I'm genuinely happy for him. Day X, month X, year X. Lucas Turner won the case. I'm truly overjoyed for him. Day X, month X, year X. Lucas Turner suffered a stomach perforation and had to be hospitalized. I feel deeply heartbroken. I want to take care of him well. Day X, month X, year X. I resigned from my job. No matter how much I loved that job. But for Lucas Turner, I have no regrets. Day X, month X, year X. It's been more than 10 days. I found out I'm pregnant. I nervously asked Lucas Turner if he wanted to have a child now. He said no. Without a moment of hesitation. I asked Rachel Davis to accompany me to terminate the pregnancy. Rachel Davis scolded me for being foolish. I just didn't want to burden Lucas Turner further. Day X, month X, year X. Lucas Turner has become an extremely skilled lawyer. He now has his own law firm. He's truly amazing. Day X, month X, year X. Rachel Davis's younger brother was arrested for drunken brawling. Rachel Davis hoped Lucas Turner could help, but he refused. Rachel Davis said Lucas Turner doesn't love me. No, Lucas Turner only stands by his principles of justice. Day X, month X, year X. Rachel Davis blocked me. I lost my only friend. Day X, month X, year X. Lucas Turner proposed to me. I was truly happy. Day X, month X, year X. We didn't hold a wedding because Lucas Turner was so busy. Day X, month X, year X. Mia Miller has returned to the country. So it turns out Lucas Turner is not cold to everyone. Day X, month X, year X. Mia Miller said that she and Lucas Turner were childhood sweethearts, but fate forced them apart. Lucas Turner has always liked her. She told me I should actively distance myself from Lucas Turner, but I didn't agree. Because Lucas Turner said there's nothing between him and Mia Miller. I believe him. Day X, month X, year X. I don't know how much longer my trust in Lucas Turner will last. He's really different when he's with Mia Miller. Very different. Day X, month X, year X. Today is Lucas Turner's birthday. But this morning, we argued because of Mia Miller. I misunderstood Lucas Turner. After he finishes work, I'll sincerely apologize to him. Lucas Turner once said I look beautiful in a green dress. Will he like it? Chapter 7. The diary stops here. I saw Lucas Turner's tears, large drops falling continuously. The suppressed sobs made him look utterly miserable. But I didn't understand. What was he suffering for? Was it guilt? Yet in the end, he still signed the reconciliation papers for Mia Miller. So what meaning does this regret hold? I floated in the air, calmly watching Lucas Turner. Aside from finding it amusing, I felt nothing else. I don't even know how much time had passed. Lucas Turner's phone rang. I saw his emotions gradually settle. Before long, all the sadness he felt for me had vanished. Luckily, I no longer had any expectations of him. He picked up the call, his tone returning to normal. Hello? Is this Attorney Lucas? Who's speaking? I have something interesting. If you agree to be my defense lawyer for free and win the case, I guarantee this thing won't be exposed. What are you talking about? You'll see. The other person hung up immediately. Not long after, a friend request popped up on WeChat. Lucas Turner clicked accept. Right after that, the other person sent over a video. Lucas Turner opened the video. Seeing the content of the video, I couldn't help but find it amusing. Is this what they call heaven's net is vast, though sparse, nothing escapes? The video captured the scene of Mia Miller hitting me that day. It must have been recorded from a hidden angle. The video started with the moment Mia Miller knocked me to the ground the first time. The pain made it impossible for me to stand up, leaving me with nothing but the excruciating awareness that compelled me to cry out for help. Help me, please call an ambulance for me, please. I can't die, today is my husband's birthday. I have to be with him on his birthday. In the video, my agony was unbearable. Mia Miller stepped out of the driver's seat, and the panic in her eyes upon seeing me quickly turned into calmness. Emma Taylor? I struggled to open my eyes to look at her. I saw a flash of malice in her gaze. Humph. She laughed, a truly cruel laugh. This is all your own doing, Emma Taylor. What are you planning to do? I looked at her in terror. Lucas Turner loves me. He only rejected me because he's married to you. If you were dead, Lucas Turner and I could be together. No, that's not true. Please don't kill me, don't. Emma Taylor, you can only blame your unlucky fate. After uttering those vicious words, Mia Miller got back into her car and drove straight over me, crushing my head under her wheels. The video then shifted to a scene where Mia Miller was crying and calling Lucas Turner for help. Next, Lucas Turner arrived. All his attention was on Mia Miller as he quickly took her away from the scene. I saw Lucas Turner clenching his fists tightly, with immense force. But I couldn't discern his emotions. I couldn't tell if he felt relieved that this video was now in his possession rather than being sent directly to the police. Lucas Turner's phone rang again. On the other end of the line, a sinister voice echoed, "As long as you agree to my conditions, I guarantee the person you love won't face any harm, and you won't become an accomplice either." Lucas Turner immediately hung up. He said nothing. That usually meant he silently agreed. It was just that his moral boundaries wouldn't let him admit it outright at this moment. I saw him stand up and call Mia Miller. "Where are you?" "At home." "I'm coming over." Lucas Turner left the funeral home. He went to Mia Miller's house. When Mia Miller saw him, she immediately threw herself into Lucas Turner's arms. "Atu, I thought you had really abandoned me." Lucas Turner didn't push her away. He let her hold him, crying uncontrollably like a pear blossom in the rain. A long while later, Mia Miller finally looked up from Lucas Turner's arms, her reddened eyes looking pitiful. "Atu, you won't leave me, right?" Lucas Turner coldly pushed Mia Miller away from him. He said, Do you really not know that the person you stabbed to death that night was Emma Taylor? How could I have known? At that time I was so terrified I couldn't think straight, Mia Miller explained. Her expression was incredibly innocent and pure. Completely opposite to her ruthless image in the video. I saw Lucas Turner suddenly laugh. A laugh full of madness. Mia Miller was stunned by Lucas Turner's demeanor, unable to understand, and asked him, "Atu, what's wrong with you?" Lucas Turner pulled out his phone and played the video for her. "Mia Miller, is this what you keep insisting you didn't know was Emma Taylor?" Mia Miller's face instantly changed, turning pale and then flushing red. She couldn't believe her eyes as she stared at the video. How do you have this video? If you don't want people to know, then don't do it." No, Atu, it's not what you think, I just, Mia Miller's tears streamed down uncontrollably. "I truly love you, that's why I did it. You love me too, don't you? Now that Emma Taylor is dead, we can finally be together. You should be happy, right?" Indeed. Lucas Turner should have been happy. "I thought so too. I know you rejected me because of your responsibility to Emma Taylor, but now that she's gone, we can be together. Lucas, everything I did was for us." Ah. Mia Miller suddenly couldn't make a sound anymore. Lucas Turner had tightened his grip around her neck, silencing her completely. I saw Lucas Turner's bloodshot eyes filled with cruelty. Mia Miller stared at Lucas Turner in horror. But in the end, Lucas Turner let go of Mia Miller. How could he bear to kill her? He just couldn't accept the dark side of Mia Miller. "Lucas." Mia Miller collapsed to the ground, looking at him with pitiful eyes. "Have you forgotten all our beautiful memories together? Believe me, soon we'll forget about Emma Taylor." Lucas Turner bent down, staring directly at Mia Miller, emphasizing every word, "I will never forget Emma Taylor." "No." "Ah." Mia Miller screamed. Lucas Turner grabbed her hair tightly and slammed her head against the ground forcefully. "I just don't want you to die too easily. Lucas Turner, let me go. Let me go. If you kill me, you won't live in peace either." "Who said I wanted to live anymore? Emma Taylor is dead, so what's the point of living anymore?" I couldn't help but laugh when I heard it. This might just be the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. I'm dead, so his life has no meaning? Did he forget he just signed the reconciliation papers with Mia Miller? "Don't kill me, Lucas Turner, I beg you, don't kill me. I don't want to die." Sob sob. "I really did it because I love you," Mia Miller cried and pleaded. She looked exactly like me that night. But Lucas Turner showed no mercy. I silently watched him ruthlessly torment Mia Miller. Her face was now a bloody, unrecognizable mess. Yet Lucas Turner still wasn't satisfied. He grabbed Mia Miller and dragged her to the balcony. This was the 22nd floor. A fall from here would undoubtedly mean death. And a gruesome one at that. "No, Lucas Turner, please. I'm begging you, don't, I was wrong, I truly know I was wrong, please don't kill me," Lucas Turner laughed coldly. He said, "When Emma Taylor begged you, how did you treat her? I almost let you make Emma Taylor die with her eyes wide open. You deserve to pay with your life." Immediately, Lucas Turner let go. Mia Miller fell from the 22nd floor. A loud thud echoed. On the ground, there was nothing left but a pool of blood, a horrifying and unbearable sight. Lucas Turner returned to my funeral hall. He had changed out of his blood-stained clothes and washed himself clean. He stood before my icy coffin, staring at my lifeless body, and said, "Emma Taylor, I'm sorry." Sorry? But now, I don't care anymore. I don't need his apology. I don't need you anymore. Actually, I do like you, Lucas Turner said. If I didn't like you, I wouldn't have married you. What we had was never just a temporary compromise. Then what about Mia Miller? I could only laugh bitterly. Now, no matter what he says, I feel nothing at all. I admit that I really liked Mia Miller. So when she showed up in front of me again, I couldn't resist her advances. But I truly never thought about betraying you. I just. Lucas Turner couldn't continue. Perhaps he didn't even know how to explain himself, wanting to keep one bowl while eyeing another pot. He said, "Emma Taylor, I regret it. I truly regret it. I regret treating you that way, I regret believing Mia Miller's lies. I regret it because now I realize the one I love the most is you." His tears fell on my icy coffin. If I could come back to life, I would rise up and tell him to stay away from me. Don't taint my path to reincarnation. Emma Taylor, I'll join you soon. From now on, let's never part again, alright? Lucas Turner spoke with deep emotion. No. I shouted loudly in refusal, but he couldn't hear me. If there's a next life, I only wish that Lucas Turner would never appear in my world again. He would stain my eyes. Not long after, the police arrived. They handcuffed Lucas Turner. Lucas Turner did not resist. Before leaving, he only said to my lifeless body, "Wait for me." No. I won't wait. I will never wait again. In this life, I've waited enough. However, my soul was still bound to follow him. I saw him being handcuffed by the police and taken into the police car. At that moment, a large truck was speeding down the road. Lucas Turner suddenly used all his strength to push the officer aside and rushed into the street. Screech! With the sound of brakes screeching, Lucas Turner was crushed under the truck's wheels. The scene was even more gruesome than my own death. And at that moment, I felt my soul beginning to dissipate. It turned out that only when Lucas Turner died could I reincarnate. But just as I was about to completely vanish, I suddenly saw Lucas Turner. He had also become a soul. He seemed to see me too. He ran toward me like a madman. "Emma Taylor, please, don't leave me, please." I had never seen Lucas Turner look so wretched before. Who said it wouldn't feel satisfying? But it no longer mattered. Because in the next life, there would no longer be an Emma Taylor.